Not a bad afternoon on our hands overall as we get ready to go into the second half of your Monday. High temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and low to mid 80s with a good mix of sun and clouds, sometimes more the former than the latter, like we're seeing right now in multiple locations. As we head into the night, we stay pretty calm. Winds are going to be rather light as well. Overnight low temperatures in the 50s to around 60. We'll talk about the rest of your 7-day forecast coming up, but until then, Midday in KELOLAND starts right now.
Live from KELOLAND Media Group, Midday in KELOLAND.
A longtime Storyland Children's Theater director reflects on his nearly 2 decades on stage. Plus, Hurricane Beryl makes landfall in the United States. We'll tell you where coming up. Good afternoon and thanks for having us in. This midday, a Rapid City juvenile is behind bars after allegedly stealing a car while a child was still inside. On Saturday after 8 a.m., Rapid City police were sent to a northern part of the city for a report of a stolen vehicle. Police learned that a woman was making a food delivery when her vehicle was taken, along with her young child who was inside. While on the way to the address, police observed the car driving at a high speed, then striking another vehicle while traveling through an intersection. The suspect continued to turn into a nearby street before stopping and fleeing on foot. As police pursued the juvenile suspect on foot into a building, he was seen jumping from a 3rd-story window. The juvenile was eventually arrested nearby. The young child only received minor injuries. Sioux Falls police arrested a woman yesterday morning for allegedly committing arson. This incident happened around 10:45 a.m. near 2nd Street and Prairie Avenue in Sioux Falls. The woman allegedly had a gas can and poured gas onto a car that was parked along North Prairie Avenue. She then allegedly set the car on fire. Afterwards, she set a nearby tree on fire. She was found still in the area with the gas can. She's charged with 2 counts of reckless burning and 1 count of intentional damage to property. There's no known connection between the suspect and the car. In weather, pretty quiet. Maybe some rain, and before too long, Adam, we're going to feel the 90-degree heat.
Yeah, that's something that's been by and large pretty absent, especially if you've been East River. We haven't had too much of that heat. Out west, it's been a bit of a different story so far this year, but things are going to even out. Here's a view from our camera in Falls Park. Beautiful Monday afternoon on our hands. 78 with a northwest wind at 3 miles per hour. And it's also not overly humid for that matter. So all things considered, it's doing pretty well. Also a good day to be out on the water if you're around Lake Madison. 75 with a northwest wind at 6 miles per hour. Really, this is one of those days where as long as you can tolerate the mosquitoes with enough bug spray, it's really a great chance to get outside. 75 also your temperature for Watertown, Brookings, Marshall, Huron, Worthington, and Ortonville. Slightly warmer though out to the west. Philip and Rapid City both sitting at 80. The wind isn't going to be an issue today. It's going to be pretty light. Generally out of the west, 5 to 10 miles per hour in many locations. So we won't have to worry about anything on the anemometer, not just today, but for a decent portion of the 7-day forecast for that matter. Satellite and radar are both working. We just really don't have anything going on locally. We have to head on over to the Great Lakes to see anything remotely close to where we are. So for the rest of the afternoon, again, enjoy it. Low to mid 80s for high temperatures in many locations to the southeast. A few upper 70s trying to sneak in there toward Orange City. Meanwhile, to the northeast, either side of 80, including 79 for Watertown and Aberdeen. Again, a nice light northwesterly breeze, a very comfortable breeze at that. At least it's not coming out of the south. If you are out west, it'll get a little bit warmer today. We'll be talking about low to mid 80s for highs. Again, partly to at times mostly sunny skies. And again, we do stay mainly dry. Now, we do have a few small hiccups on the way Tuesday and then to a different extent on Wednesday. But once we hit the second half of the week and go into the weekend, that's when we start to feel the heat. We'll talk about that and exactly how warm it'll get. Plus, we'll go through that short-term outlook as well, all coming up in your full extended forecast.
Thank you, Adam. Hurricane Beryl is punishing parts of Texas today after coming ashore between Galveston and Corpus Christi. And there are fears many people did not evacuate in time. Omar Villafranca reports from Galveston.
Hurricane Beryl's torrential rain quickly flooded streets in Houston. A few cars plowed through deep water and at least one had to be pushed. Fierce winds also battered Sugarland, Texas, after Beryl made landfall as a Category 1 hurricane. Storm surge rose to about 7 feet in areas just west of Galveston Bay.
For those of us that do live on the island, we're very well prepared in terms of the flooding.
In Houston, the mayor urged residents to prepare.
Our worst enemy is our complacency. We can't allow this storm to slip up on us.
A disaster declaration has been issued for more than 100 Texas counties. As the state's lieutenant governor warned, the storm's path will impact communities inland in addition to along the coast. With potential impacts as far south as Corpus Christi, residents along the Texas coast were boarding up windows in anticipation of Beryl.
Once you've been through one and you see the storm and the rain and the wind, you want to be sure you're prepared.
Just 2 weeks ago, Tropical Storm Alberto flooded the Corpus Christi area. Ryan Dunn manages a waterfront bar impacted by that storm and says he's concerned about losing business during what's expected to be a very active hurricane season.
It's just the beginning of the hurricane season, like the very beginning. So it puts us at a little bit of fear.
While the wind gets all the headlines, it's the storm surge that's the deadliest part of a hurricane. In fact, over the last decade, more than half of the deaths from hurricanes come from storm surge. Now, we're expecting anywhere from 4 to 7 feet of storm surge here, and then it'll continue raining, and then that rain will head up north. Omar Villafranca, CBS News, Galveston, Texas.
The cast of Storyland Children's Theater has stood center stage at McCannon Park in Sioux Falls every summer for more than 30 years. Michael Smith has been there nearly every step of the way. He was a performer in the 1990s and after a stint in New York returned to Sioux Falls and took over as director. He's also a theater teacher in the Harrisburg School District, but has spent his summers in the park for the past 19 years.
Getting to play with kids, getting to work with young actors, and getting paid to do theater in the summer, it's a no-brainer. You just got to do it.
In tonight's Eye on KELOLAND, we're going to tell you how Smith got his start in theater, why he loves writing plays, why hundreds of people turn out for every show at McCannon Park.